Congratulations on the podium. Amazing job. Can you sign my hat? Thank you.
We are bringing some significant aerodynamic upgrades to the car this weekend. The team has worked really hard on the improvements, and we are hoping they translate into a strong performance on the track.
Hey Keith, I saw the wreck. I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah. It was my fault though, I got a little bit too low.
Still, I'm sorry. The team has made a decision regarding your contract going forward. Effective end of season, you'll be released from your...
Yeah. I figured as much.
Keith, I really am sorry.
I'm glad it came from you and not Zach. I'll see you around.
Keith, don't let her distract you after everything you've been through. Without that period in IndyCar, you wouldn't be here today. Come on, let's go. You've got a race to run.
Here in Montreal, lights out is quickly approaching on this artificial island originally built for the World Fair in 1967. Now it's used for a World's Fair of a different kind, ever since Formula One first arrived here. We're back in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. It's one of the fastest races of the season here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 60% of this 2.7-mile circuit taken at full throttle. There are 14 corners to navigate, the very last of which has its very own infamous history and could be the cause of a safety car today. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Oscar Piastri completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Russell, Antonelli, Max Verstappen and Leclerc, Hadjar, Hamilton, Sainz and Alex Albon, Gasly, Lawson, Arvid Lindblad and Behrman, Alonso, Hülkenberg, Valtteri Bottas and Ryder, Bortoleto, Ocon, Stroll and Franco Colapinto rounds off the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And joining me in the commentary box once again, Naomi Schiff. Hi, Gnomes. And let's talk momentum with this driver. What a sprint it was. They start at 0 once again for today, but with a huge amount of confidence, surely. Well, they'll definitely be glad that there's not a sprint race today. Let's face it, the sprint couldn't have gone much worse, but what we're looking for today is a reaction. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. What a track this is, and what a challenge for the drivers this weekend. Long straights, heavy braking zones, and a very green surface to start with.
This happens to be one of the drivers' favorites. It is a low downforce circuit that is fast and flowing, but it is also demanding on the brakes. And be careful, because let's not forget the wall of champions that catches out so many.
Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Keith Ryder series. Here we are with the Canadian Grand Prix. Keith Ryder, after a lackluster sprint race, finishing P20, qualified P18 outside of his teammate Valtteri Bottas. So, without further ado, 5 red lights, And away we go for the start of the 2026 Canadian Grand Prix. Ryder going up the outside, Nico Hulkenberg making it 4 wide with his teammate, and going up the inside and diving into turn number 1 as he goes wheel to wheel with Liam Lawson as they go into 2. He's actually going to stick his nose up the outside of Gasly, but Liam Lawson pulling up back along the inside. Who's going to bleed into turn 3 and 4? It looks like they're going to touch as they go into 3, but Ryder's going to make the move stick into turn number 4, closing in on Pierre Gasly. Will he have enough to send a dive bomb? He sends it up the inside, pulling alongside Carlos Sainz as they go side by side, coming out of turn number 6. Ryder is going to make the move stick on Carlos Sainz. Tremendous start from Ryder so far, evidently eager to make a big splash after his lackluster performance in the sprint race, already into the top 10. He absolutely could not have asked for a better opening lap. He's coming up the outside. Double move on Albon there. He sends it up the inside into the hairpin. Will he get by? Albon hanging it around the outside, but it looks like Ryder's going to get better traction out of the corner, and he is going to take that spot from Alex Albon. Next up, the 2 Ferraris in front of him of Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. Again, tremendous start from the rookie as he moves up to 9th position. The confidence looks like it's still there after the podium last week in Miami. The question remains, though, will the Cadillac have the outright pace? Will it be able to keep up with the faster cars ahead of it, and will it be able to keep the cars behind it? Obviously, there's some faster cars behind him. We saw it struggling in the sprint race as well as in qualifying. A little tank slapper there from Ryder as he still looks to claw up to Charles Leclerc as they go through corners 3 and 4. Coming up on turn 5, will he be close enough to make a move on Leclerc? No, he's far too back. Makes it through corner number 6, right on Leclerc though. Gets a little squirrely going on the straightaway here. Leclerc has a big run. Looks like 7/10 ahead of the rookie, but critically, and you see teammate there of Keith Ryder, Valtteri Bottas in the other Cadillac, retiring from the session on lap 2. So that's another question here. Is the reliability of the Cadillac strong enough for Keith Ryder to survive this race and make it deep into the laps? Coming out of the hairpin here, the Cadillac with 90% battery. He's going to be using all of that. We'll see if he can get some kind of run on Leclerc here as they go by the wall of champions through turns 12 and 13. He's closing the door, closing in. He's going to dive up the inside. Will he make the move? Going around the outside, side by side down the front stretch, and he makes it past the Ferrari and moves up into 8th position. Ryder here absolutely driving like his hair is on fire, trying to make a good impression in front of this Canadian crowd. Moving up to P8, you got Max Verstappen in front of him. That's going to be a tough one to pass. Obviously, they tangled a little bit in Miami, and knocking the front wing off Verstappen there into the final corner. Will Verstappen make it difficult to pass? Ryder with a tank slapper there. Leclerc closing in, sending it up the inside. Leclerc makes the move right before the hairpin. Doesn't even really have to do a late dive bomb. But Ryder right on the gearbox of Charles Leclerc there. Will he make another move like he did last lap? Right into the wall of champions here. Closing in, using that battery. Will he be close enough to make some kind of lunge into these final 2 quarters? He's closing in. He's going to be too far away to make a move on the Ferrari, but he's right behind Leclerc. Great track position so far. We're going to cut ahead here to lap 4. He's right on the tail of Leclerc again. Will he make another dive bomb here into turn 6? He's sending it up the inside. Will he make it? He makes it through. Leclerc going a little bit wide, but Ryder holding the position. Back into P8 after passing the Ferrari. Will he be able to keep one half of the prancing horses behind him, though? Obviously, the two share the same engine, but that Ferrari aerodynamics is a force to be reckoned with, especially through these high-speed corners in Montreal. We're going to cut ahead here to lap 9 of the Canadian Grand Prix. Ryder holding Leclerc back. Leclerc back to 6 seconds behind the Cadillac, and he's closing in on 4-time world champion Max Verstappen. And we have a safety car. Ryder almost runs into the rear end of Max Verstappen. They've got to catch the safety car cue there. Keith Ryder almost just absolutely ending his race there by almost just plowing into the right rear of Max Verstappen. That could have been catastrophic for both of them. Max definitely would have been furious with Ryder 2 weeks in a row with the two having contact, but he made it through, didn't hit him. So here we go into lap number 10 here. What's going to happen here? Will they make a strategy change? Ryder, obviously he was planning on doing the hard to the medium to the soft. He's definitely going to be deliberating with the team here. Surely, I mean, you'd think they haven't said anything yet, but you would think surely they'd be thinking about doing some sort of strategy change. I mean, at this point, it's a free pit stop, so it would make sense to pit. You see, it looks like he's thinking about going to the medium tires, actually, instead of the soft compound tires. What will the cars in front do? So Max Verstappen goes into the pits. It actually looked like some of the other league cars were in the pits. Here we go. It looks like the Mercedes actually double stacked. The Red Bull's double stacked as well. Those may be 2 free positions for the Cadillac here. This may end up working out in his favor. I think if he'd stayed out, those hard compound tires would have been just not fast enough to keep the faster cars behind. Yeah, it looks like Ryder here is going to gain possibly 2 spots there ahead of Antonelli and Max Verstappen. You see Verstappen there actually on the softs, Antonelli on the medium. So it's a split field so far, it looks like, with George Russell ahead of him on the medium compound tires and Hamilton on the soft compound tires. Let's look ahead or look back here and see what happens with the pits. Yeah, it just looks like they double stopped. I don't really know what Red Bull or Mercedes were doing there. That was probably not the best decision. Maybe they just think they can get back past the Cadillac. They don't think it's going to be that much of an issue, but slow stop there from Kimi Antonelli and Max Verstappen. That's going to be critical for their race to see what happens here in the end. We cut ahead here to lap 12. We're about to resume racing here. George Russell ahead of the Cadillac. Will that Cadillac be strong enough to catch those Mercedes in front of them? The Mercedes and the Ferrari, excuse me. More than likely not. That Mercedes power unit's very strong, but he's going to sit at the inside on Russell. Will he? He goes way too deep into the grass, cuts back across Russell's nose. Russell makes the move stick. That got real hairy there into turn number 2. Will he think about making a move out of this chicane here as they move towards turn 5 and 6? Into 5. Will he make a dive bomb on Russell here? Into 6. Looks like he's going to be a little bit too far back, and he's probably just going to have to settle for just staying behind him, staying in that overtake mode, or in that range here, with Antonelli right on his tail. Antonelli's probably going to make a pass here. We're going to cut ahead to lap 15. Verstappen's actually made it back past Antonelli. Ryder going to send it up the outside of Russell. Can he make the move into turn number 6? He does, and makes it into 6. Russell going a little bit wide there. Kind of the same move he pulled on Leclerc earlier. But absolutely unreal scene so far. Russell actually sending it back up the inside. Thought about it. Looks like Ryder's not going to give Russell there enough space to make any sort of move, but that Mercedes is going to be chomping at the bit to get back past the Cadillac of Keith Ryder. They come into the hairpin here. Oscar Piastri battling with Lewis Hamilton here. That's actually going to help Keith Ryder as he looks to close in on the 2 and improve his position even more. Maybe even possibly fight for a podium. Again, this Cadillac, I mean, it is unbelievable what Keith Ryder has been able to do with this Cadillac machine, as these other cars have got to be so much stronger. But on race pace, Keith Ryder is making an absolute showing of what his prowess and what his skills are. Hamilton sending it up the outside of Piastri. They go side by side into turn number 2. Who's going to come away with it? Looks like Hamilton's got a better run. Still side by sides. They're going to come into the chicane here. Oscar Piastri with that Mercedes power unit going to pull away into the chicane here. But this is going to leave the door open for Keith Ryder. Make a move on Hamilton. He goes through the grass. Can he make a move here? He's going to send it up the inside like he's done multiple times before and makes the move stick. Moving up into P4. Unbelievable scenes from the rookie so far, but you do see a train starting to form up behind him of the 2 Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton thinking about it here, into the chicane here before they get to the hairpin. He's probably going to be close enough to make some sort of move. He still is close enough. Ryder using that overtake. Hamilton not quite close enough to make any sort of dive down the inside of Ryder, but here comes Russell alongside the Ferrari, and oh, tank slapper from Ryder. That's opened the door for both the Mercedes and the Ferrari. Russell gets through. Hamilton tucked right onto Ryder's gearbox, but Ryder's going to send it up the outside on Russell into the casino straights, and he makes the move back by the Mercedes and holds the position on the Ferrari as they go past the wall of champions. Unbelievable. Elbows out here in Canada as these drivers are giving it their all. The Cadillac right here tucked up onto Oscar Piastri. Will he be able to make a move? Those tires may be cooked a little bit from that tank slapper. The rear tires anyway. He's right behind Oscar Piastri. Can he make any sort of move? We're actually going to cut ahead here to lap 20. You see Piastri's actually kind of put himself in a position to gain some time and get ahead of Ryder here. A little sideways from Piastri, but Russell and Antonelli critically about 3 seconds behind the Cadillac. They're battling between each other. as they come into the hairpin here. And Piastri spins. He goes sideways. He spins out, and Ryder is up into second position with Lando Norris up in first place. 7 seconds ahead, but still, at this point, just unbelievable. We're going to see a replay here. See what happens to Piastri. It looks like he just locks up there and just turns sideways, turns it all the way around, lets both Mercedes by. He is going to be absolutely just kicking himself over that mistake, allowing both the Mercedes through. Just unbelievable luck from Ryder at this point to be in P2 on lap 21 of 35. Obviously, Lando Norris ahead of him here. Lando in the pits. Ryder coming into the pits as well. It'll be curious to see what kind of strategy Lando's on. You see the Mercedes of George Russell behind him going into the pits. Will the Cadillac team rebound from their week last week where they had some issues in the pit lane? Looks to be, so far, a quick stop. The Cadillac coming out still ahead of George Russell. You see the Ferrari of, I believe, Lewis Hamilton makes it by a few other cars. Ryder's going to have some work to do if he wants to catch back up to Lando Norris. Obviously, that is a big gap from Lando. Ryder coming out of the pits in P5 just behind Max Verstappen. And it looks like he's going to think about it. He sends it up the inside into turns 3 and 4. Brilliant move from the rookie, and that puts him into P4 with Lewis Hamilton now firmly in his sights. We'll see just how quickly Ryder is on those fresh tires, because this is the window where he has to make them count. The grip advantage is there, the track position is opening up, and after that move on Verstappen, you can feel the confidence building inside that Cadillac cockpit. We're going to cut ahead here to lap 24. He has closed the gap to Lewis Hamilton. Will he be able to make a move? He's going to be right on his tail here after 3 and 4. He's been a lot stronger here than some of the other cars. Hamilton a little bit sideways there. Ryder going to think about going up the inside as he's done all day afternoon. He sends it up the inside, makes the move. Easy pass for Keith Ryder there. Brilliant pass as he goes onto the backstretch. Next up in his sights, Isaac Hadjar and Lando Norris. We're going to cut ahead again here to lap 27, excuse me. Isaac Hadjar has gone into the pits, and a 3-second time penalty after multiple warnings for Keith Ryder. He's cut that chicane multiple times this race, and he's ended up with a 3-second penalty here. Going a little bit wide as he goes into turn number 2. Now it becomes a race of, can he stay 3 seconds ahead of Russell? He's going to have to pit again. Those soft tires aren't going to last that long. Here we are on lap 28. This may actually be the pit lap here. We see him coming into the pits, flying into the pits, and will any other cars follow him through? Russell's going to go ahead here. Let's see if another car follows him in. It looks like another Mercedes. That's going to be Kimi Antonelli's going to follow him into the pits here. Ryder going onto his last stop for those fresh soft tires. Quick stop from the Cadillac pit team there. And he's going to come back back onto the track, excuse me. We'll have to see where he cycles up. You see a couple cars there entering into the frame. Ryder behind. Who is this? Who's that going to be? It's going to be Hamilton again. So can he make... He should make quick work of Hamilton with those fresh soft tires. We're going to cut back here to lap 31. Right behind Lewis Hamilton. Half a second back. He's probably going to pass him here like he's done all afternoon. I keep saying it. I've said it for the 3rd time now. Sending it up the inside on Hamilton. Easy work on the 7-time world champion to go up into P4. Critically, though, he has that 3-second time penalty. So it looks like Piastri and Norris are going to go the distance there. We're going to cut back ahead to lap 35, 2.5 seconds ahead of Hamilton, and he is well behind Isaac Hadjar here. But keeping it ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Can he get to that 3-second gap? And he turns it sideways. He turns it sideways, losing the gap. Hamilton going by. The two Mercedes closing in on him. He loses it again. He loses the front part of his right front wing. I can't even talk. Ryder just falling apart under the pressure here. Going into P8. P9. Can he at least hold P9 and at least get some points? He's 8 seconds ahead of Leclerc, but those tires are going to be toast. He turns it sideways again. Charles Leclerc, 5.5 seconds back, 3.5 seconds back, 2.5 seconds back. That gap's going to be too close. 1.7 back. Leclerc closing in. Ryder just slipping and sliding all over the track. So much wheel spin. Those tires have got to be cooked. Those Those rear tires just got to be absolutely just cooked. And can he? No, I mean, it looks like Leclerc's only a second back. He steams into the, and he crashes into the wall of champions. He destroys the car. He destroys the car. Can we get some sort of replay on that? Just sending it in too much steam. I don't know if he was just nervous or what, but steams it into the final two corners, smashing into the wall, losing that right front tire. That's the end of his race. That is the end of his race. Can we see the onboard again here? Yeah, just steams it in way too quick, and just destroys the car. Just heartbreaking scenes from the rookie after a great early drive. Heartbreaking scenes.
And here he comes. It's all go, go, go for Lando Norris as he takes the checkered flag and wins.
And they led every single lap of the race. It was a light to flag victory, and that is total dominance.
It's time for our podium celebrations. And as ever in Formula One, 3 is the magic number. He holds the trophy aloft, and why shouldn't he? A richly deserved win today for Lando Norris.
Questions are going to be asked after that mistake. Was there something else occupying Keith Ryder's mind this afternoon? We may never know. Whatever the cause, it's a heartbreaking end to what had been another hugely promising drive. Ryder finds the wall of champions, and in the end, it's a race to forget for the Cadillac rookie. See you next time in Monaco.